In this video, we're looking at how shopping patterns have changed over time. The way we've shopped for our necessities and our luxuries have changed over the last 200 to 300 years. In the last 50 years, however, it has changed more rapidly than ever before. It may be useful to divide the last 250 years into smaller periods based on large changes in technology, shopping, and behaviour of people. The late Middle Ages, before 1750. Before about 1750, people used to do very little shopping, and so there were very few shops. Most people grew their own food and made their own farming implements. Except for a few blacksmiths, jewellers, medical services, etc., there was very little or no formal trade. The reasons for this were because most people lived in an agricultural setting. These were small villages with subsistence farming. There were no large cities and the population was small. The advantages of this was that there was low air pollution, all food was organic, the people had lots of exercise, and people would barter for trade more often than using money. Money, however, was used to buy property and land. There were also some disadvantages in this time. There was hard physical work involved. There was not a wide variety of foods available, and no mass production of food and goods. Mass production makes things cheaper and more widely available. Many types of food were only available seasonally. There also weren't good medical facilities and communications were poor. The Industrial Revolution, approximately 1750 to 1900. Then came what we now call the Industrial Revolution. This rapid increase in use of technology and machinery was established by 1750 and is still ongoing. This meant that there were now factories producing goods and many people were no longer farmers. These people who worked at the factories needed to buy their own necessities, so corner shops and local shopping areas in town sprung up in the now growing towns. They couldn't farm as well as work at the factories as they had no time for it. There was also less barter and a more money-based economy had started. All this happened because the towns were growing steadily larger as more industry was concentrated in those areas. Population increased and more shops were needed to supply the needs of the people. The advantages were that there were a large variety of food and services available. The corner shop and the local butcher and baker were now established. Customers would have a very personal and social relationship with the shopkeeper because there were fewer customers per shop in relationship to today's larger supermarkets, and more communication between the customer and shopkeeper. The disadvantage of this type of shopping were that money was most important, and so people were getting greedier. Products were getting more and more expensive. There were crowded conditions in the towns, and this was unhygienic and unhealthy. There was also a lot of pollution coming from the factories and from concentrated populations. In this period, we also see the introduction of child labour in sweatshops. This is the England described in the books of Charles Dickens. Travel becomes easier, approximately 1900s to 1980. This major change happened from approximately 1900s and travel continued to get easier until about 1980. The car had just been invented and people began escaping the congested cities to live in the areas near the city but beyond the CBD. The suburb was born. Satellite towns had developed around large cities and there were now high streets, supermarkets and then hypermarkets appeared. There was now convenience shopping and large out-of-town shopping centres arose in the suburbs. All this happened basically because vehicles allowed people to escape the crowded cities and settle out in the suburbs where it was more peaceful and cleaner. To and from the city became much easier because public transport, buses and trains, began to become common. The advantages of this were that people could work near to where they lived. It was easier to travel to work in the city by car or public transport. There was a large variety of goods and services available. Food of all types was available in all seasons. There were more houses and bigger houses available. The disadvantages of this time were that there was an urban sprawl, larger and larger cities. This meant much more pollution and traffic caused by the vehicles. Large demands of food meant that genetically modified food was developed and organic food became much dearer to buy. Less time, larger stores, and many more customers meant there was no personal relationship with customers and shopkeepers. People wouldn't walk much either, and so obesity increased. Internet shopping and malls, approximately 1980 to present. This new trend started in the late 1970s and early 80s and on till today. The computer has been developed and is commonly available. The internet allows shopping to be done without leaving home. The faster growing type of shopping now is internet shopping. Shopping malls which offer retailtainment are popping up. Larger and larger hypermarkets are being made. This offers all under one roof shopping. The reasons for this type of shopping are because of the development of small but powerful computers. Then broadband technology was invented, and globalization means that people demand international standards of goods and services as they become more aware of what's available elsewhere in the world. The advantages for internet shopping are that it is more time saving and is convenient. The shopper has a much wider range of items to choose from and are able to easily read reviews and compare products in their own time. The advantages for the malls are that people can hang out, which means that they can have fun with their friends while they shop. The shops are sheltered and provide a wide range of different products. They also have food outlets, so it's not necessary to leave the mall to eat. They also have a wide range of activities and games they can play. They can have fun. The disadvantages for internet shopping are that there is a more impersonal relationship with the seller. People don't get to see and touch and try out their clothes and other products. There is a possibility of fraud when paying online.